All right. It is that time again. So, welcome back, my regular viewers, listeners, and watchers. And of course, if you happen to be here for the very first time, welcome. Before I go any further, my name is Rahul George, India's premier self hypnosis coach and your personal guide. So, the topic that I have lined up for you today in our pod is something that is in a few moments you'll understand why I'm framing it like this. But this has been a topic that I've been closely studying for many years. And today, of course, I'm at a point where, having studied it for many years, um, it's almost become like a friend, a companion. And I can definitely say now, after several years, I do have a, maybe in a way you could say, a love and hate relationship. Maybe I would have said that earlier, but I think now I have a much clearer understanding, a clearer connection between this friend of mine. So let me introduce you to, and this is really the topic for today, right? We're talking about the power of infinite loops, right? So it's literally like the unending cycle or infinite loops. So what I mean by infinite loops or unending cycles. So if you think about it, apart from birth and death, right? Nothing really is an unending loop, right? Meaning that we can break that loop pretty much anytime. Think of it in the context of, let's say, maybe you're building a habit, right? So you built a habit, you've maybe you had a different habit before, and now you built a new habit. And then you sustain the habit until, of course, the habit breaks. And therefore, it's no longer an unending loop, right? And sometimes, of course, we do it unconsciously, sometimes we do it consciously, but invariably, sooner or later, a loop or a habit uh, or an unending cycle ends, even if it is temporarily ending. So even as I was thinking about, the topic for today's pod, this this idea popped into my head, right? And of course, full props. I was talking to a client of mine, and this idea kind of got reaffirmed that, especially as digital coaches, when we are in the process and we are truly in the business of building powerful habits in our own lives, powerful positive habits in our own lives, a lot of times these habits can break because if you think about it, many of these habits we have not had before. Um, let's say most of us were not born with these habits. These are habits that were inculcated, meaning we built them since childhood, or maybe from being the time of being an adolescent, or maybe from our 20s and onwards. So the point here being that uh, there was one loop, and then that loop broke and a new loop started. So I find it fascinating now, and that's what I meant, that I see old habits, if they try and sneak back in, as a it's like it's no longer something that I fear. It's no longer something that I dread. It's just recognizing that familiarity of an old pattern is trying to sneak back in. And for me, it's a moment to pause and reflect and ask myself, okay, why or what about me right now is drawing that part of me back again, right? So, for example, today, after a long time, I felt like having something sweet. And I've not had that feeling now for, I would say, several weeks, if not longer, right? So, when I had that feeling, it made me, pause and reflect and go, I wonder what is it that's happening inside me that's making me have maybe a sugar craving, or maybe make me want to, you know, feel that feeling of comfort, of familiarity. And so, eventually I didn't have, or let's say initially I didn't have the ice cream, but eventually, maybe an hour or two later, I had the ice cream. And here's the interesting part, right? When I did have it, um, almost in a matter of minutes, I started to feel the old feelings, which is typically after sugar. For me, I tend to feel lethargic, I tend to feel tired. And so for me, it was another reminder as to, oh, yeah, this is why I don't indulge in sweets. And, that is able to keep me on a different track, which means I'm making sure that I'm eating well enough so that I feel full, so that I feel not stuffed, but full, and I feel sated. And having said that, in spite of all of that, if at a point in time I do feel a craving, it's just a reminder for me to check in with myself like, okay, what is it that's actually happening in my life right now that's making me feel this or feel an imbalance, right? So, like I said, loops really have a powerful uh, role to play in our lives. And um, when that loop is either about to break, or even if it breaks temporarily, for me, it gives me a moment to reflect. So, if you're here listening to this point, which means maybe you listened to this pod from the very beginning, a couple of things. One is, of course, if you happen to be listening to this pod on YouTube, please like and subscribe, and definitely share this with um, people in your community, people who are coaches, digital coaches who, like you, are on the path and who are looking to benefit from this information. Because, you know, I myself know what it is to be on the path, to be in the mode of searching, in the mode of looking for the missing pieces in my own journey, right? And of course, especially, if you're somebody who has already invested in tools, in technology, and in mentors, and somewhere things haven't really, clicked into place. Um, and then you start to go deeper within, um, in your own personal journey, to recognize that, okay, what is it about me that is not wanting to be mainstream, right? So why am I different? Why am I not following the beaten path, right? Because otherwise, ideally, I should already be successful. I should already be having the things that I should have had, whether it is in the context of creating a funnel, or you know uh, doing webinars and running things in a sort of templated way. If it's not working, then why is it not? Right. So if you're in that journey where you're wanting to understand what's missing in your own life, in your own in your own uh, cycles or loops, and that's brought you here to consume this kind of information, definitely do share this. And I'd love to hear from you. Like, what is that unending loop that you're trying to break, or that breaks and then forms and then breaks again, right? So I'm definitely looking forward to hearing more from you in the coming days. Just remember that, you know, uh, infinite loops exist in our lives for a reason. And if they are about to break or they do break, there's a reason for that as well. And even when they break, you can always create new infinite loops. So maybe we've gone a tad philosophical today, but that's a wonderful way to get ready for, at the time of this recording, we're getting into a new week. So sometimes we can stray down this path, and just know that it's perfectly okay, because um, the path of personal reflection and personal journeying is such. There are times when we want to get very specific. There are times when we want to go kind of wide and discover. And the more you discover who you are and what are some of these negative beliefs that are standing in your way, and therefore, what new, positive, powerful beliefs do you want to create? life has a way of reminding about that. So, like I said, this is just a reminder. And of course, if you are somebody who's on this path right now, and this is a question that you have, which is Mera number kab aayega? Meaning, when will things work for me? That's the reason why I've created a workshop. This is what happens on Saturday at 11 a.m. In fact, let me correct that. This is what happens on Sunday at 11 a.m. This is a way for you to discover more about, um, what is, you know, what are these negative self beliefs that you have? And more importantly, how can you create new, powerful self beliefs? So I've been very blessed to focus on not only learning hypnosis, but also to be able to teach you self hypnosis. So, this 1 hour workshop is designed to introduce you to the power of self hypnosis and how you can use this in your life to be able to create new, powerful, positive self beliefs so that you can truly be able to maximize your market value, meaning that you are able to value yourself, you're able to charge in a way that you feel in alignment with, and that your clients are able to connect with and resonate with you in the way that you are framing what you have to offer, how you can make a difference to them. So it's literally the psychology of, if you want to call it the psychology of money, it's all about psychology of value, valuing yourself, and in turn, you are able to value your clients. So if this is something that is intriguing, is making you curious, or is something where you're like, yeah, you know what, I really want to do this, I want to be able to learn this, then this is the workshop for you to get started, right? So with that, I'm going to wrap and pause for today, but of course I will be back. These are pods that are recorded regularly and every day, of course, on Facebook, and you will probably be watching a recast on YouTube. So, with that, I'm going to pause for now and be back again. So, as always, remember to live with purpose, and I will see you, of course, before I go. If you have any questions that you want to address with me directly, please do send me a direct message, and I will definitely respond to you. I will be the one responding to you directly. All right. So, with that, I want to wish you all the very best wherever you are right now to where you want to get to, right? To that space of life, Chingalala. So, with that, have a wonderful day ahead. And as always, remember to live with purpose. See you then. Bye bye.